And we'll get started. So welcome to our Science of Water webinar with Wakewater Co. We are going to go over a bunch of different things. So first of all, just thank you for being open-minded. You could be literally anywhere right now, and to be willing to learn something new, maybe things you already knew, things you had a feeling about, things that you kind of had a little inkling of, like, this might be a little bit of something that I got to educate myself on, and to accept truths about what's happening today, because there's a lot of problems in our world, and sometimes we don't know the solutions. We see the problems and we want the solutions. So I'm here to bring you guys some solutions, and this is actually what we're going to be talking about is water, as everyone knows, and health, which is true wealth. Having your health is truly one of the best gifts you can give yourself when you are looking to achieve wealth. This is something that less than 99% of the world knows about, you guys. Like, I mean, very early on, even though it's been such a long time that we've known about this technology. So if you want to follow us, our movement is Wakewater Co. at Wakewater Co. on Instagram, and then our website is wakemovement.love. My name is Monica, and you can follow me on Instagram at _Monica Wren. I'm an open book. Feel free to DM me. If you end up having any questions, I'm happy to help. And how I found this water, several years ago, I was diagnosed with a medical condition called lymphedema. Long story short, I had to wear these compression garments from basically like my toe all the way up to where your hip meets your thigh. And it was very uncomfortable. And it was something that they said I would have forever. And I really was very naive about how the body works, how really taking care of yourself, what that looks like on a daily basis. And I was reactive in my health rather than being proactive. And this is a concept I'm going to come back to over the course of the webinar, because it is so crucial to understand that when it comes to the best way to have longevity with your health is being proactive, not waiting for something. And then finally, after I realized, you know what, maybe this isn't the best option for me to just have a health problem for the rest of my life. I was extremely young. I'm still super young now. And I started researching things, and I watched a documentary called Your Brain on Water. And this is a screenshot from the documentary. And I learned that edema, which is basically inflammation, swelling in the body, means that your body is dehydrated. And it really connected a lot of dots for me. And I realized that I needed to make a change. And when I did, I made many changes. But of course, this amazing water, it really helped me a lot, along with all the other things I was doing. And now I'm conscious of what I eat and drink. And I know that you have to have a proactive approach to life. And of course, I'm grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for the whole journey that I've been on, and it keeps going, of course. But if I can share this with you all and inspire you to start making changes before something happens, you can learn from my mistakes and make your own instead of make the one that I made again. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not here to say that this water cures or treats anything, any specific medical diagnosis or disease. What it does, though, is it hydrates us effectively, and it gives your body the tools for the body to heal itself, because our body is extremely intelligent. I believe that we are some of the most highest technology on this planet. And if we give our body what our body knows it needs, then it will start to do things seemingly in a miraculous way. And that's just by design. That's how we were built. So a question is water really healthy? We have different kinds of waters. We have tap water, bottled water, reverse osmosis. These are basically like processed waters. That's how you can think of it. It means that a company has performed a series of chemical operations on the water to change it or preserve it in some way. And what's really sad is that over $19 billion a year is spent on purchasing bottled water. And the water is being bottled in plastic, which is actually a hormone disruptor. And you may have heard about alkaline water. We're all familiar with this brand right here, Essentia, or maybe we are. It's very popular right now. So tap and bottled water, you guys, they're either acidic or chemically alkaline. Okay. Chemically alkaline, you're going to keep that phrase in the back of your mind. I'm going to ask you to bring it up later because we're going to talk about it again. But this is the basics of what you need to know. Now, like I said, I'm going to be talking about solutions. So this is the solution to many of the problems that we're facing today. This is a Kangen water machine. The word Kangen means return to origin, and there's different perceptions, different layers of the meaning. I like to think of it as, when we are being created in our mother's womb, it's like a big water bowl. That's what our womb is a bunch of water. And then when we're born, obviously we are not in the water anymore. And when you drink Kangen water, it's like rehydrating yourself, returning back to your original state of hydration. So why is this water so special? Why are people talking about it? Why should you even care? 3 main properties. Number 1, it's super hydrating. Number 2, it's antioxidant rich. And number 3, it is alkalized. So remember, I just brought up something that said chemically alkaline versus this, which is alkalized. And I'll go into that in a second. So we hear, it's a very trendy to hear things like anti-aging or free radicals, toxins. Here's the reality, you guys, is that every single one of us who is existing in the world today, every day we are bombarded with lots of toxins, whether it's drugs and antibiotics, whether it's stress, whether it's mold, whether it's alcohol, whether it's even just whatever you're watching me on has EMFs, right? And what happens is over time, this starts to oxidize. The oxidation is this process. If you leave an apple out on the counter, it's going to start to go brown because it's going to be overcome with toxins and free radicals. And then eventually it's going to oxidize and it's going to wither away. And dehydration leads to oxidation. In other words, when you're not properly hydrated, this is going to happen much faster. Oxidation, which is the same thing as aging, it's going to happen much faster when you are dehydrated. And how can we figure out if something is full of antioxidants, or how can we figure out if it's full of toxins or free radicals? Something called ORP, oxidation reduction potential. This is an ORP meter here in the middle. Basically, what you need to know about ORP is a positive ORP reading means that it's bad for you or it's aging you. A negative ORP reading means that whatever the liquid is an antioxidant. It's good for you. It promotes longevity in the body. So the reason why, because I just mentioned free radicals, and actually, if you don't know what that is, I'm going to point out this picture right here. A free radical is when there's not enough electrons and the cell starts to steal electrons from other cells. And when you do that to a healthy cell, it's damaging to the cell because the cell only has enough electrons for itself. And then you have a free radical that's like, well, I need some of your electrons to make me feel full and whole, which is why antioxidants are so good, because antioxidants have lots of electrons to donate. So there's a free radical that doesn't have enough electrons. Then there's an antioxidant that has more than enough. So it's going to donate electrons to the free radical, and then the free radical won't steal anymore from a healthy cell. And with Kangen water, it is abundant in something called molecular hydrogen, which is the smallest antioxidant. And it is the strongest antioxidant because it liquidates free radicals and it's bioavailable, meaning wherever it's needed in the body, that's where it's going to go. And this is why it's a great anti-inflammatory. People like me who used to have swelling issues now don't have any swelling issues because, again, it's going where the body needs it the most. So let's take a look at the different drinks that we're consuming and what their ORPs are.
This is an ORP meter, which literally measures a liquid's potential to reduce oxidation. The more positive the reading, the more oxidizing or inflammatory the liquid is. The more negative the readings, the more antioxidizing and anti-inflammatory a liquid is. We'll go to Propel. This is actually the same as vitamin water, Gatorade, Powerade, any sports drink. About 400s. Going up and down there. We got Sprite. We all kind of know that soda's bad for us. Diet sodas, by the way, and dark colored sodas are in the 500s. But Sprite is right around 436. And we got Kangen.
All right, so do you guys see how all of these drinks, the first 4 were a positive reading and the Kangen was a negative? That's because, I mean, we all know Sprite's not good for you. We kind of have an idea that Gatorade may not be the best. They say it is, but it has a positive ORP and that's aging you. That's not going to actually hydrate you. So we talked about ORP. Now let's talk about alkalinity, because this is also very trendy right now with things related to health. So You might recognize this from your 5th grade science class. This is a pH scale. So over here on the left, we have the acidic side. This is associated with lower voltage, slow recovery, and that's why I have this kind of like dying out battery as the picture, because it's going to be slower recovery and it's low voltage. Now over on the right side, the alkaline side, you have high voltage and fast recovery, hence a full battery. And this is why you might have heard people say like eat alkaline, drink alkaline, stay on an alkaline diet, because that's going to give you the most energy rather than slowing you down or even taking energy for something like digestion in your body. Now, what creates acid in the body? Lots of different things. So processed foods, GMOs, even cooking or heavily fried baked foods, drugs, pills, medications, alcohol, coffee, tea, chocolate, different sugars, starch, meat, dairy. Like there's so many things, you guys. And even negative thinking, worry, anger, they can result in acidity in the body. And like I said earlier, our bodies are extremely intelligent forms of technology. And what they do is they have buffers in place to combat acid if it's too imbalanced in the body. And actually where these buffers come from are things like magnesium, calcium, zinc, iron. It's your minerals. And of course, we all know how important minerals are for the body. So you don't want to deplete minerals just because you have too much acid in the body. And that's why it's important to keep that balance. So remember that phrase that I mentioned very early on when I first started was chemically alkaline. So this is a picture of tons of bottles of Essentia. And the reason why they call it alkaline water is because all they do, you can look at the ingredients, it says purified water. Second ingredient is sodium bicarbonate. All they do is add baking soda and add chemicals to make the pH change. And it's really just a chemical change, which is not actually doing you any benefit to your body. It's actually really bad for your kidneys to constantly be consuming water that has baking soda in it. Not doing anything for you versus Kangen, which is an electrical change, which is why it's really important to understand that there is pH, like the numbers on the pH scale, but taking a deeper look at what pH is, which is voltage. And that's why we say that Kangen is alkalized, because it has a charge like a battery would versus a chemical change, which is literally just adding chemicals to something. You can easily make your own Essentia at home, and it doesn't really make it any better for you, to be honest. So that's a little bit of a rude awakening if you drink Essentia, I'm sorry, but it is the truth. And this is why I said I'm bringing solutions to the problems we know we have. So let's check out the different pH levels of the same drinks that we looked at earlier.
If you look at the pH chart, it's about a 4. And then typically and sports drinks are right in between a 3 and a 4 pH. When you got your Kangen, this is actually the 9.5 water, but the machine can make 8.5, 9, or 9.5 so that you don't detox too quickly. A fun little trick I want to show you guys, I pulled the Kangen water here. Let's say you've been drinking bottled water for a long time, and you're like, okay, well, how long could it take for the water to kind of help my body? Well, I drink Kangen, drinking the Kangen water. But you guys, sports drinks and sodas are so acidic.
All right, so what she was gonna say is these drinks are so acidic that it would take a minimum of 30 glasses of Kangen water just to neutralize it. So me hearing that, the amount of sodas that I've had in my day, I don't drink soda anymore. Still though, the amount of sodas that I've had in my day, I feel like I'm still detoxing acid waste out of my body because of how much I had. Let me look at, oh, I don't see anything in the chat. Okay, well, if no one has any questions, that's totally fine. I just don't want to leave you guys hanging. So again, to recap, with water specifically, and of course other drinks, we all know water is the best thing that we can be drinking. You want to look at the pH and you want to look at the ORP, and that really leaves you with one option, because with pH, okay, all of these brands, probably not so much. And then you have Essentia, which you're like, okay, Essentia is alkaline, okay. And then you look at the ORP and it's a positive number, which again means it's aging you, which is why Kangen is the best choice, because it is the high pH, alkaline pH, and a negative ORP, which is showing you the voltage. So that's some of the properties of Kangen water. Now, another property that's extremely important is the structure of the water, because it's not how much you drink. How many times have we heard, drink 8 glasses of water a day? If you would just drink 8 glasses of water a day, you're fine. And that's actually not the case, because it's about how much water you're able to absorb. So imagine you're standing in front of a chain link fence, you know, the one that has like the little diamond structure. And I give you a bucket of softballs and I say, hey, throw these softballs through the fence. And you look at me like I'm crazy, because you know that's not going to happen. The softballs are way too big to get through the fence. Now imagine I give you a bucket of marbles and I say, hey, throw these marbles through the fence. And then you're like, now you actually are making sense. So that's the difference between drinking regular water, of trying to get those big softballs through the tiny fence, with the size of water going into your cells, versus Kangen water. And this is just another visual. So when the water is structured, it's much smaller and it's able to actually penetrate your cells, versus water that is not structured and it's not able to absorb into your cells, which is why even if you do drink 8 glasses of unstructured water a day, you're still not getting hydrated at the same rate you would as drinking structured water. So that's the difference there. This is going to just show what I was saying a second ago. The tea is going to act as a demonstration for your cells.
It's really important for athletes, really important for dealing with brain fog. And of course, with the detoxification, it's really important for losing weight and for feeling better, because toxins, we'll even get a little help here. Toxins sit in our cells, and you can't get them out with your water. What did my skeptical husband say? He said, well, that's not fair. The tea bag was already wet, right? But isn't that cool? That's showing you the superior hydration, better detoxification of your cells. But just so you know that we weren't, cheating, and it wasn't because the tea bag was already wet. We'll go back to the Dasani. You know how when you feel really bloated or your stomach feels really full and slushy with bottled water or tap water, you're drinking a lot of water? It's because it's sitting in your stomach and not actually absorbing into the intestines. To give you a little dose of science, the Kangen water, between the good alkaline minerals and the antioxidant, it can open your pyloric valve and go straight into the intestines.
So that's what's happening when you have structured water versus unstructured water. And I still, to this day, honestly, in my over 2.5 years of having my Kangen machine, I've made more room temperature and chilled tea than I have boiling it, for this reason: if I can just put the tea bag in with the water and I have tea. And it's wild that that's happened, because we never knew water could do that. Now I get a lot of questions about, okay, where's the science? Like, are there any scholarly articles or literature that I can review? Yes, there is. So the scientific name for Kangen water is electrolyzed reduced water, right here. There's thousands of articles peer-reviewed on this water, and also on molecular hydrogen, which is another great thing to research. Let me just remove this. Whoops. Erase. There we go. So highly recommend, if you would like to, you can go ahead and do your own research, which I highly recommend. There is a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there about Kangen, so I would stick to these phrases, because that's where you're going to get the actual information. Electrolyzed reduced water. You can even look at reduction potential and molecular hydrogen. And I promise you, there's more articles than you even have time for, because I was in grad school when I found Kangen water, and I started going down the rabbit hole of all of the scholarly research, and there's just not enough time to get through, because there's so much, which is awesome. So if you want, you can either ask whoever invited you to the webinar, go on PubMed, NIH, Google Scholar, you'll find it all there. And the reason why it's now getting so much popularity, and in my opinion, still Kangen water is very underrated, because not a lot of people know about it. This is a medical device. It's approved as a medical device by the Japanese Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, and it's the only water ionizer endorsed by the Japanese Association of Preventive Medicine for Adult Diseases, which, remember this word right here, you guys, preventative, like what I was saying earlier, of taking a proactive approach to your health. And it's also used in lots of Japanese hospitals and clinics. And it's the only medical device for water. There is no other medical device for water out there. Now, more about the company that makes these machines called Enagic. There's a lot of amazing things about this company. What I say is the most important on this whole slide is this third bullet point right here, original equipment manufacturer, because what this means, if you're unaware, original equipment manufacturer means that from start to finish, they are doing everything. They produce the machines by hand. There's no robots. They get checked. Like you see in the picture, obviously they have workers working on each machine. And it's not that, you know, you'll find the parts in one country and send them to the second country, put together a little bit of it and send it to a third country and then finish it. That's not how it works with Enagic. From start to finish, they do everything. And that's really, really rare, especially with something for your health, because health and wellness is one of the biggest industries out there right now. And you really want to look at the manufacturing and standards of quality that they're using for their products, because otherwise, if you're consuming something, it can be really damaging for your health. And that's why I have these pictures right here. So inside of this machine, there are platinum coated titanium plates. These are medical grade platinum coated titanium plates. And this is this one on the left. This is a Kangen plate. Now, other water machines, water ionizers out there, they're going to look like this, degrade and break down over time. God only knows what's in there. And I pray that anyone who's ever had water from those machines doesn't get sick. Yet, majority of the time, people end up having even worse health when they get some cheap machine that is not even qualified. Because Enagic, like I said, they have the approval as a medical device, and these ISO certifications that they also have, other companies that you're familiar with that have these ISO certifications would be like Boeing, Rolex, and Rolls-Royce. So this is really, really top of the line. And that's why I say that this is one of the best investments into your health and into your wealth that you could make, because it's going to bring you such a huge return on your investment. And up until this whole point, I've only been talking about the drinking water. So this machine actually has 7 different settings. I'm going to go through all of the other ones here really quickly, because it really does save you so much money when you learn about all that this machine can do. So let's start with the 11.5 water. This is water that can clean off dirt, oil, anything like greasy or dirty. It can be used as a replacement for like a veggie wash, stain remover, degreaser, laundry cleaner, makeup remover. There's tons of different uses. So one of my favorite ones is cleaning our produce. Let's take a look at what happens when we clean this water.
So in these 2 glasses, I'm going to be pouring in the tap water. And then in this one, we have the Kangen water 11.5. So we'll let this sit for about 5 minutes and we'll see what colour the water comes out. So it's been 5 minutes. Let's see what happens when we pour the water into these glasses. You ready? Okay, so remember we've got the tap water on this side. So the reason why the Kangen water is so effective is because it penetrates through the oil, and farmers are using oil-based pesticides to put on their crops, so when it rains it doesn't wash away. So it's very cost effective for them, but what happens is we're not actually able to wash them off, as you can see with tap water alone. So we need something a bit stronger, and that's why the Kangen 11.5 is so effective, is because it actually breaks down oils and emulsifies the oils. So you can really see for yourself the difference between the Kangen water and the tap water. So Kangen water, tap water. Look at
Okay, so this is actually what it looks like pretty much every time you wash your food, unless you grow it yourself and you know it's totally organic and all of that. Even like organic produce you buy at the store, organic doesn't necessarily mean pesticide free, like I said, unless you're growing it specifically yourself. So I don't know what's in this one right here on the right, but I know that we do not want to be consuming it because pesticides are very, very real toxins, and they contribute to a lot of really negative things that we don't want to be experiencing, things like cancer, birth defects, issues with your lungs, with your liver, hormonal problems. It's a long list, and this is not anything that any of us are choosing. We just don't know any better, right? So that's why I love the 11.5, because it does so much for our health. And then, of course, it's not just on our food, it's also in maybe makeup or skincare products, lotions, candles. There's a lot of products out there that we're using and not even knowing what's in them. So this is not an extensive list. I would stay away from at least these 10 right here, because these are not going to be anything that we want to be consuming into our bodies. And with your machine, what you get is actually you get beauty water. This is 6.0 pH beauty water. It's virtually free with your machine because, of course, your machine has an infinite supply, and it's great for anything related to your skin. It's great for your hair, for your nails, because it's the same pH as your skin. You can use it as a conditioner. You can replace your moisturizers, or if you have, let's say you have holistic or clean beauty products or skincare products, it can enhance what you're doing. I actually like to use cleanser, and I use the beauty water to wash my face. And it does something different that I've ever experienced, because it's such a natural thing. It's just water that's the same pH as your skin. Plants also love it. You can use it to clean your windows or floors, for men aftershave, or anyone who shaves in general, for baby wipes, and you can also use it for cooking. So imagine like all of the money that you could save just with the 11.5 and the 6.0, right? Now, one of the most impressive things that this machine does, and I don't know if I'll ever get tired of sharing this because it's actually surreal still to me, the 2.5 pH strong acidic water. This is water that basically you can use to replace any sanitizer, any disinfectant, mouthwash, clean your bathrooms, athlete's foot, strep throat, bacterial infections, acne, skin infections, neti pot. For first aid, it kills salmonella, E. coli, mold, pneumonia, hepatitis, and tuberculosis. You heard me correctly. If you have hand sanitizer, you can literally just throw it away because you need just 2.5 from your machine, and that can replace your hand sanitizer. And imagine if we would have had this, I mean, we did have it, but not, like I said, not everyone knows about it, a couple years back, how different things could be for our life, right? And another really cool thing is 2.5 pH water. It's also known as hypochlorous acid. It's approved by the FDA and USDA for food handling and preparation because of what it does. It kills within 30 seconds, you guys. It's killing MRSA, any viruses, bacteria, salmonella, anthrax, E. coli, like I said, tuberculosis, mold, pneumonia. Like there's so many things that it will just disinfect, and it's just water. And imagine if you have kids too. What's really important is maybe you're using bleach to clean in the home, and accidentally your child pours a bunch of bleach on their arm. Now you got to call poison control. Versus imagine if you're using 2.5 to clean and they get a bunch of 2.5 on their skin. Well, it's really no problem because it's just water. Water that disinfects, which, like I said, it's still wild to me. And the last thing I want to share with you guys about the water is how our animals communicate with us through their actions. So let's take a look at this dog.
Okay, Brooklyn. Here, Ollie. Can you get some water? There it was.
That's crazy.
You see it?
Yeah.
You smelled one, you went back to the good water. Okay, drink too. You know what's good water. No? I don't want none of that crap with that chlorine all in it.
I mean, you guys saw the tail wagging. Like, he was just so happy. So remember all of these different products that we just went over, and honestly, even more, because there's so many uses that this machine has with the different levels. It would just take too much time for me to go over everything. We have different protocols. We have PDFs that we'll get once you get your machine. And these are the different machines that we offer. I really want to highlight the K8, and then we also have a shower unit as well. These are actually full text write-off. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a CPA, but you can write them off on your taxes. And these machines are going to last you over 30 years. They'll outlive your car. They have different financing options available. It's actually very, very affordable. I know you might see the number and you're like, whoa, that's a big investment. And it is a bigger investment in comparison to the things we buy on a daily basis for most of us, right? So let's take a look at the cost of drinking water. Now, let's say you're drinking something like Fiji. Fiji is the most expensive thing on the list. Over the course of 15 years, you're spending close to 100 grand on water that is in plastic. You have no idea how long it's been sitting in that bottle. Plastic is an endocrine and hormone disruptor. It's not structured. It doesn't have voltage. You don't get beauty water. You don't get 11.5, right? How many Kangen machines could you have bought if you would be paying for Fiji for 15 years? Because this is 100 grand. You could have bought so many Kangen machines. And even with something like Dasani, would you rather spend $20,000 on bottled water that's stagnant, endocrine disruptor? You don't get any other uses. It's not structured or has voltage. You still could have bought many Kangen machines, because over the course of 15 years, you're spending less than 10 grand owning a Kangen machine. And you actually save even more than that because of all of the things that the machine does. So this is a savings report for a family that has 2 adults, 1 child, and 4 pets. It says it right here. Monthly, you're looking at saving around $264 versus a yearly of over 3 grand. Because you might think like, you know, all these things that I'm buying, they're just not that expensive, but they do add up, you guys. And this is why I said earlier, this machine is amazing for your health and for your wealth, because the return that you get on your investment with how much money you save, improving your health. I mean, I haven't had to go to physical therapy in a long time, thanks to the water for helping me with that. Helping our planet and not buying bottled water anymore, like that's a huge win. And of course, having a simpler lifestyle, you can go green, you have less sick days, you can spend more time with people that you love because you don't have to worry about your health how you used to if you have any health problems, and you'll start to see what happens. So I mentioned there was financing. These are the 3 main options. Number 1, you can pay in full, debit or credit card, cash or check. I know a lot of people like to get like travel miles for their credit card or points because they have like a reward system. You can totally do that. Second option, you can do our $55 a month financing. This is with a third-party credit card. We're really looking at like a credit score 650 or above to get approved. And right now, the best offer that we have is 18 months of no interest, which is amazing because you get to build your credit. You get your machine for around $55 a month, and you don't have to pay in full, and you can get all of these perks with a credit card too, depending on the rewards that they have. And then option number 3 is our down payment. So depending on your zip code, you're looking at between $900 and $1,300 down. This is no credit check and no interest. And then you're looking at monthly payments of around $150 to $180 a month. So figure out whatever option 1, 2, or 3 that you're leaning towards. We also do offer personalized financial consultations. If that's something you're interested in, just ask the person who invited you, hey, I want to do a free consultation for my finances, and we'll figure out what the best option is for you based on your financial situation. So I know it's been a little bit over 30 minutes and we just have like 10 more minutes to go. My question for you is, who do you know that this water can help? Throughout the course of everything I've been saying, is there someone you've been thinking about? Maybe it's your mom or your dad or a sibling or a neighbor or your best friend, or maybe it's just you and you're like, man, I could really use this water. Like this would really, really help me a lot. Let me check the chat really quick. Okay, we got an answer. Cool. So doesn't matter who it is, who do you know that this water can help? Because this company has created something amazing. If you didn't know, Enagic, the name of the company, stands for energy and magic. This is our CEO, Mr. Oshiro. He is a wonderful man, and he understands that the basis of vitality and long life is water. And he also says that without protecting the environment, a healthy, comfortable life for people cannot be achieved. And I truly believe that you can learn a lot about a company based on who's running it and who's in charge and who the CEO is, because there's a lot of things that a CEO can choose to do with a company. And there's no one in charge of what they're doing. So that's why I love this company so much, because you can really see how much they care. This is something that is going to be very, very popular in the next few years. Imagine if you would have partnered with Apple right before iPhones got big, or with Netflix or Uber. That's something called a mega trend, and Enagic is the next mega trend. So some people will buy it because it makes sense. Some people will buy it because they have a health challenge like me. And then some people, unfortunately, they're going to wait just until they're very sick on their last legs, because that's a very common mindset that we have today. And the really cool thing about it is anybody can utilize this business. So I know you're like, wait, she's talking about business and we were just talking about health. And remember, I kept saying the best form of wealth is to have your health. So health comes in many different aspects, and it's not just physical. Now we're waking up to a lot of emotional health and a lot of mental health. And there's also another aspect of health, which is our financial health. And how do we feel when we think about the money that's coming in? Or how do we feel when we hear the word recession? And how can we figure out how to help the planet, do something we love, help people around us, and also benefit financially with all of those things? So this is something you can share and get paid to share. There's no fees. There's no qualifications. You don't have to stock up on inventory. You don't have to buy things. And what I think is honestly the best part, in my opinion, on this whole slide is this bullet point right here, is a 3 to 5 year plan. And what that means is you can have a 3 to 5 year retirement plan. I'm going to be retired in the next 3 to 5 years. I know you're probably looking at me like, this girl is insanely young. Like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. There's no way she's going to retire in 3 to 5 years. And I'm telling you, this is not just something that I'm saying. This is actually very real. If you just stick with me, you'll get to see why. So what Enagic does is something really awesome called profit sharing. So this is the company Enagic. What they do is they decide to share their profits with people who have used the product and love it. People like me. I used to have a health issue. A lot of people I know got this machine because they had a health issue. And then it changed a lot for their health and improved their life in a lot of different ways, had them saving money. And now they just want to tell people about it. So you have the company giving their energy, sharing profits with people who love the product. And then they find other people who are like, you know what, this is something I can get behind. This is something I want to do. And they believe in the company. They believe in the product because they've used it and they love it. And they give their energy, of course, in the form of money also to the company. And it's basically like this loop that keeps going on itself. This is one of the best ways to run a business because it ensures that the integrity stays within the company and stays within what the company is promoting. So how this works, because I get a lot of questions about people saying like, oh, this is an MLM, like that's a pyramid scheme. And that's what I thought actually myself when I first learned about this. The difference between a traditional MLM, and by the way, you guys, not every single MLM is like a scam or a scheme. It's just a different way of doing business. It's not something that I personally would like to do, but if you do it, more power to you. If you like it, go for it. Basically what it is with an MLM is it is a pyramid shape and no one can surpass you if you're at the top. Basically, you need more people to grow your business. Now with Enagic, what they do is direct sales. And the best way that I can explain this for everyone to understand is think about real estate, right? When you want to get your perfect home, you hire a real estate agent, You start going to showings, you're looking at homes, you find hopefully your dream home. And then once you close on the home, you get to move in, and the real estate agent will receive a portion of commission as a reward for helping you find your home. That's the same thing that happens here. And it's like every machine that is sold is basically like a franchise lane. And with this business, people can surpass you. That's actually what you want to happen. And that means that you can do this business just with one person, or you can do it with 100, or anywhere in between or above. It's totally up to you. So that's pretty much the differences between a traditional MLM and how this works. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the specifics. I'm not going to go too much into detail. We actually have a business webinar on Thursdays that is way more in depth than what I am sharing here. I'm just glazing the surface. If this is something that you are interested in learning more about, I would highly recommend checking that out. So how it works is that for every machine that is sold, this is a K8, for every K8 that is sold, 8 points of commission are paid out to the distributors. Now, each point is worth $340. I'm introducing a few numbers. Don't get scared. You're not going to have to do like crazy math, I promise. I'm all going to make it make sense for you. So let's say you just got your machine and you're obsessed with it, and you just shared it with your next door neighbor. We'll say his name is Mark. So Mark gets his machine, and as a result, that's your first sale, and he bumps you up to something called 1A. 1A standing for 1 point agent, right? Because remember, 1 point of this, you could call it a pie, you could call it a pizza, is $340. So you just made $340 for helping your next door neighbor that you were already really good friends with, Mark. And his health just improved, and he was able to start, I don't know, going on walks around the neighborhood again, or something like that. Now, let's say that Mark just got a machine, and next week after that, your grandma decides to get a machine. That will be your second sale. And that's also going to give you another $340 because you're 1A. So those are 2 franchise lanes. Now, on your third sale that you make, we can say that this is going to, I don't know, your best friend, Joe. Your best friend, Joe, he ranks you up to 2 point agent, 2A. This is your third sale, and you just made $680 for helping your best friend level up their health, which is pretty crazy, to be honest, to be doing something you would do anyways because you love the water and you're sharing it. And then people just end up wanting to get one from you, and you get a referral check. So the cool part is where residual and passive income come into play here is, let's say your best friend Joe is obsessed with this water and he wants to make it like a full-time business for himself. So Joe goes out and he has 5 sales in his first month. Joe is going to make $340, $680, $680, $680. But you, because Joe is right here in your 2A franchise lane, you just made $680 5 times. I'm going to let that sink in because that's actually kind of wild. All you did was help him get a machine because he wanted to level up his health. Then he became obsessed with the business, and all of a sudden you got 5 checks for $680 each, right? Pretty freaking crazy. This is why you can retire in 3 to 5 years. Plus, as you keep going, right? So 340 starts to double, then it triples, quadruples, it's times 5, times 6. I'm not going to go into too much of how the ranking up works. Just know that whatever sales anyone underneath you makes, it counts for you. So those 5 sales Joe made, that now made you into 8 sales. Okay. Now, the 3 to 5 year plan really comes in right here when you hit 6A. 6A is you're getting 6 points. You're a 6 point agent. You will receive $2,000 of commission for every sale you make, which this is real. People are living this, people as in me. And actually it's really cool because the way that Enagic has their structure, let's say you did have Joe make those 5 sales and you made $680. That's all passive income. This past month in November, you guys, I made $5,000 of passive income. I wasn't doing anything. It's really awesome because you can spend time with your family. You can do things that are more important to you. And as you keep working on your business and helping people, You can retire with this. So once you hit 6A, you'll receive a $3,000 bonus. And then the whole purpose of your business is to help your team and help people who are doing this with you also get to 6A. It's not about selling machines anymore. It's literally just about helping the rest of the people get to where you are. Because as you get more 6As underneath you, you will receive a $6,000 bonus, then a $12,000 bonus. And here is the 3 to 5 year retirement plan right here. When you hit 6A2-3, you'll get a $25,000 bonus and $5,000 a month for life. For the rest of your life, you can stop right there. The thing is, it keeps going. As you get more and more high up, you can make up to I think it's like $80K a month for life or more. And there are people who are making that. There are people who are making $5K a month for life. And this is why I say I have a 3 to 5 year retirement plan, because I don't have to stop necessarily working if I don't want to, but I will never have to worry about money again. And that's such a big blessing. And what's even a bigger blessing is if you have kids, you guys, you can will it to them. It can be put in your will, and Magic will give my $5,000 a month for life to my children. Imagine what that could do for your family, generationally, for your kids to never have to worry about money again. That concept that I mentioned about financial health, you can do that for your children. And of course, they also plant a tree in your name on the island of Okinawa in Japan when you hit 6A2-3. So I just want to let all of that sink in. I know I shared so much information. If you want to get your system for free, it only takes 10 to 12 referrals to pay for it. And again, they can be direct or they can be indirect referrals. Most people end up making their money back in 6 to 12 months just by helping other people get this machine. And remember, there are tax write-off advantages too. If you want to learn more about what I'm sharing, come to our business webinar on Thursdays. Just ask whoever invited you and they can share the link or share the recording if you're not free on Thursday evenings. So thank you guys so much for being open-minded, for being willing to learn something new and understand all of these things that maybe you didn't know. If you have any questions, you can shoot me a DM or whoever invited you, and we'll be happy to answer them. You are so worthy of this water, you guys. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. What I do know is what it's like to not have my health. And that's not something that I wish for anybody, because we all deserve to be hydrated. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and we will talk to you soon.